Good Thursday. Welcome into Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yao, joined as always by Maurice Patton, and we are excited for another edition of PREPS Thursday, as we have a lot of high school news to get into today. Looking very much forward to it. Hope you guys will stick around with us and enjoy the guests we have lined up, but also the topics of conversation. And before we get into those topics of conversation, Mo, first, how's it going? How are you today?
I'm just trying to stay hydrated.
I see you got 4 water bottles over here. Yeah. 2 of them full, 2 of them half full.
No, 2 of them full, 1 of them empty.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Yeah. Well, so, yeah. I mean, you cannot wait until game time to hydrate.
No.
Kids, keep that in mind. But no, I've got a game tonight.
You do. You got to go all the way to Bell Buckle, which is my home away from home in the fall and the spring, sometimes the summer.
Yep. In another game that will start later than originally scheduled. We'll get to that in the rundown, though.
All right.
Even though you left it out.
So listen, here's my question.
All right.
Or not my question.
Exit.
Let me tell you what I got a problem with today.
Today.
Okay. This is
as opposed to yesterday or tomorrow. Right?
I didn't have this problem yesterday. It won't be a problem again. We got to talk about fast food burger prices.
It won't be a problem again. Not with this place anyway.
No. What are we doing?
Now you're talking about the good stuff. This is
no,
what
seriously. I mean, Justin, you know.
Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
Is this a trash can juice segment?
It is trash can juice.
Okay. They got rid of the dollar menu. Really? That's ridiculous.
McDonald's getting rid of the dollar menu. Now everything's $1.39 or higher.
Inflation, baby.
I'm fully behind you on this.
This is ridiculous.
Justin, have you already heard this rant, or are you just familiar with where he's going?
I just wholeheartedly agree.
Because there's no reason that I should be paying $8 for a Whopper or a Big Mac.
That's on you.
Or a whatever.
That's on you.
No, but in situations like today where I was supposed to go to a luncheon. I did not have the ability to go to said luncheon or any other luncheons that may or may not have been happening today.
They had barbecue at said luncheon, by the way.
I know,
It was
JJ's,
yes.
because the cook was out at the memorial building, so they had to improvise. But
I like the improvisation.
it's ridiculous.
I went to said luncheon.
that a fast food burger costs $8.
And yet you paid it.
I was hungry.
That's what they counted on.
But listen, I don't care what the problem is, but we got to fix it. This is insane. I
Seriously, I mean,
I promise you, I will not be buying another one.
and seriously, when enough people take that approach, things will change. And until then,
Supply and demand, baby.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think when there's only one gas station in a 20-mile radius of a place, gas is $4.10 a gallon or whatever? I mean,
Because you got to pay it.
when
It's a
you're-
convenience fee.
You're captive.
But you would think that in a place, which I guess everybody's doing it. I mean, McDonald's, Hardee's, Wendy's, Burger King, everybody's expensive. Everybody's that price now.
And everybody's paying it.
Here's the thing. There are some fast food burgers I will pay $8 for.
You are killing our opportunities of getting Burger King on the show.
Oh, yeah. It was Burger King. If Dave Thomas wants to call, we can talk.
You realize Dave Thomas is dead, right?
I do.
Okay.
Might I just interject that McDonald's, their app, has really good rewards, I must say.
Okay, I use the rewards all the time, but here's the thing. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because you get, okay, so if a meal, right, is $9, you get burger, fries, drink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I can go on the app and I can get the burger and a free fry and $1 drink for $7.50 individually.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've gone to the app, and that's how
Circumvented the situation.
exactly.
To some degree.
But that's what they want you to do, because they want you to rack up those rewards so you go back more and more. And look, I'm not hating on that. I think it's a great idea, and it works for me and apparently Justin, because I get the $1 iced coffee all the time. I'll go and get the $1 iced coffee like literally all the time.
I'd like to think it's a mutual relationship.
It is a mutual relationship. They're giving you something for you using their app instead of, going through the drive-through or whatever. So it's just interesting, but I'm sick of these high fast food burger prices.
The burgers, it's too damn high.
Price of burgers is too
damn high.
Listen, because here's the thing. I can go to Jana's Jumbo House and get a much better burger for $2 or $3 less. I can get a large tater tot on top of all that for
And a
the
sweet
same
tea.
price.
And a sweet tea.
So
And it's better.
it's much better.
And
No, I didn't have time to-
And Jana, by the way,
If you want to come, yeah, absolutely. You want to bring us some Johnny Burgers for the show
hello.
or something like that, we're always in on that. But yeah, anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. These burger prices are ridiculous. It's trash can juice, and I'm not here for it. Now that we'd have got that out the way,
It might be time, now that you've gotten your prerequisite rent out of the way.
I had to hold that throughout. Of course, we had some distractions, but
Yeah. Well, you feel better now?
I do.
Okay. You know what's going to make us feel even better? If we give you yesterday's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Volleyball action from Wednesday. It was Gallatin sweeping White House Heritage 3-0. Page with a 3-0 win over Siegel. In girls soccer, it was Cane Ridge with a 5-1 win over Independence Academy. Lipscomb Academy with a 3-1 win over Battleground Academy. In the Little League World Series, Brett Sanford's favorite team, El Segundo, California, ousted Nolansville 5-3. Major League Baseball action. The Braves with a 7-0 win over the Mets to close out that series. St. Louis defeated Pittsburgh 6-4. It was Boston 7, Houston 5. Cincinnati with a 7-3 win over the Los Angeles Angels. And the Sounds in minor league baseball defeated the host Gwinnett Stripers 1P 3-1.
And in that game, they scored a run, but it was the only hit they got. It was a one-hitter for the Sounds.
The
Sounds one hit the Stripers, but the
Okay.
one hit was a home run. You'll take that.
You'll take that, especially when you score 3. Now, if you didn't score any, then
It's
it
a
might
problem.
be an issue. Yeah. LA Sparks with a 91-62 win over the Phoenix Mercury as well yesterday.
Tonight's football schedule. Columbia Academy is traveling to Bell Buckle, take on the Webb Feet, and that game is now at 7:30 p.m., giving Mo a little bit of extra time to get over there. And also in Eagleville at 8 p.m. tonight, you can catch the Vikings of Community taking on the Eagles. Volleyball action this afternoon. Smyrna's at Wilson Central at 4:30. At 5 o'clock, it's John Overton at McGavock and Perry County hosting Hampshire. It's Grace Christian at Columbia Academy at 5:30. Also at 5:30, Friendship is at Davidson Academy. And Grace Franklin hosts Middle Tennessee Christian. Webb School is at Providence Christian at 5:30. At 6 p.m. tonight, it's Montgomery Central at Cheatham County and Spring Hill at Columbia Central.
Also at 6 o'clock, Murfreesboro Central is at the Community Vikings.
There we go.
Second best nickname. Forest goes to Eagleville at 6. Mount Juliet is at Gallatin. Harpeth hosting Merrill Hyde. Culleoka traveling to Moore County. Mount Pleasant hosting Lewis County. Santa Fe entertaining East Hickman. Loretto at Summertown.
Let's go.
Volleyball, tiddlywinks, it don't matter. It's going to be an event, and y'all will be there. Also at 6 o'clock, Dixon Academy is at Zion Christian. Oakland is at Blackman at 6:30. Also at 6:30, Stewart's Creek is at Laverne. And Rockville goes to Siegel, time unknown.
Today.
Sometime today.
Yeah, don't expect updates from tonight's Summertown Loretto volleyball game while it's going on, though, because that will be inside the gymnasium.
Enough said.
Girls soccer action this afternoon. Cane Ridge is at Middle Tennessee Golden Eagles at 5 o'clock. It's St. Cecilia at Davidson Academy. Donaldson Christian hosting Antioch at 5. Franklin Christian goes to Nashville Christian. STEM Academy hosting McGavock, and Summits at home against Brentwood Academy at 5:30. It's Marshall County at Loretto. Centennial hosting Murfreesboro Central at 6. Also at 6, Northeast is at Northwest up in Clarksville. Franklin Road Academy is at Columbia Academy. Cookville hosts Lebanon, and Zion Christian goes to Culleoka. It's Kenwood at East Robertson. Fairview hosting John Overton. Ezo Hardings at Friendship Christian. Greenwood, Kentucky hosting Hope Prep, while Kirkwood is at home against White House Heritage. Hume Fogg goes to Merrill Hyde. MTCS hosts University School of Nashville. Sycamore goes to Portland. Lawrence County's at Richland. Warren County hosting Columbia Central, and Livingston Academy at Watertown. Again, all of those at 6.
Also at 6:30, Station Camp is at Christ Presbyterian Academy. Rossview is at Henry County. Blackman is at Rockvale. Lincoln County travels to Spring Hill. Centennial hosts Nolansville at 7. Also at 7, it's Independence at Clarksville. Father Ryan hosting Brentwood. Franklin hosting Shelbyville. Beach is at either Harpeth or Harpeth Hall, and that's a big difference in travel plans there.
No kidding.
Green Hill goes to Hendersonville. Laverne hosting Wilson Central. Riverdale's at Oakland. Mount Juliet goes to Siegel, and Stewart's Creek is at Smyrna. Major League Baseball action today. 1:10 start for the Red Sox and the Astros. Ooh, sorry, Wade. Boston 7, Houston nothing, top of the third.
Jeez.
And at 6:05, it's the Cubs at the Pirates, but also the Dodgers and the Guardians are delayed through 8. LA with a 6-1 lead. The Nationals are up 5-3 on the Yankees in a battle of last place teams. In the top of the 8th there. Bottom of the 7th, it's the Rockies and Rays tied at 3. Also at 6:05 tonight, the Blue Jays are at the Orioles. The Rangers are at the Twins at 6:10. At 7:10, it's the Athletics at the White Sox in a battle of battle of Nashville.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Oakland's yeah.
Reds are at the Diamondbacks at 8:40, and that is your rundown.
That wasn't the rundown.
What was it?
The Gwinnett Stripers host the Sounds at 6:05, and in WNBA play tonight, Liberty's at the Sun at 6 o'clock on Prime on Twitter. The Storm are at the Fever at 6. The Aces go to the Sky at 7.
Yes.
And oh no, it's fine. You don't have to do all that.
Oh.
The links are at the wings. You missed the
Yeah,
there's another
it was.
page.
I thought that was the end. My bad.
Extra page.
Yeah,
it gets you every time.
Yep, no
Yeah,
doubt.
You get,
Well, once all the baseball games weren't on here, I figured I didn't know what else wasn't on here. That's my bad. Yeah, we just kind of goofed the rundown, the both of us.
it's okay.
Yeah. It's all right.
I mean, I don't
It's still
always.
better than yesterday.
No kidding. Top stories brought to you by our friends at Piggly Wiggly Neely's Meal in Columbia. Make sure to go see them for great deli, hand-cut meats, and fresh produce.
And meat and threes.
That's right. Shohei Ohtani
Hmm.
has torn his UCL, will not pitch again in 2023. Will he DH?
GM Perry Manasian, according to CBS Sports, says Ohtani will not swing a bat over the next couple of days so he can be evaluated further. He hopes that Ohtani will be able to return as a batter this season. You know, I think Bryce Harper hit with the same injury.
But why?
Why did he hit?
Why is he hitting?
Why is Ohtani hitting?
Yes.
Because he's still the best thing going in Major League Baseball, I guess. I don't know.
It is your walk year.
It is your walk year. You're not
You
going to
cannot-
re-sign with this team.
You're not
Why?
gonna, you're not going to re-sign with this team. Oh, and by the way,
This team
You
isn't going
need-
anywhere.
you need surgery to get back to pitching as quickly as possible.
Well, assuming he comes back to pitching, because he
It's
also
his
had
second.
Tommy John surgery in October of 18. So this would be his second.
That's correct.
So I would imagine he has to have surgery regardless. I don't think anybody's going to sign Shohei Ohtani as a DH.
Here's my problem.
He has to at least play outfield. Does he
This,
pitch again, though?
let me,
If he's going to have surgery, you may as well have it now, especially for this team.
whatever the Angels, whatever he feels about the Angels, he needs to give it up. And here's why. On 8/13, he experiences arm fatigue and misses a start. On 8/23,
Yesterday.
he leaves that start early with arm fatigue. If you're experiencing arm fatigue, don't mess with it.
He's also publicly
Shut it down.
expressed that he was feeling tired, a byproduct of his unrivaled workload as a two-way player.
What? Well, I guess he does play outfield.
Well, he did at least. I don't know how much he's played outfield lately.
Yeah, but if he a DH and pitching every fifth day is not a double workload.
Is anybody else doing it?
But it's I mean, that's like, yeah, every pitcher in the National League until 2 years ago. The heck?
During his start Wednesday afternoon, Ohtani showed greatly reduced velocity on all of his pitches. According to StatCast data, his fastball was clocked at 93.2 miles an hour, 3.7 below his seasonal average. His sweeper, meanwhile, was 4.7 ticks slower. First player in MLB history to rack up 10 wins and 40 home runs.
And maybe the last. It is unfortunate, but boy, Shohei, if I'm Shohei, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge.
No, I'm getting surgery yesterday.
Take the surgery,
So
hit.
yeah.
You know, once you're back next year for spring, you can hit. And then whenever you're ready to pitch, whether it be next year or in 2025.
But how much?
Maybe he's not a starter. Maybe he's a relief pitcher potentially. Maybe, who knows?
How much, though, does this impact his market and his number?
His market value is going to decrease. And
does his demand decrease? I mean,
oh yeah.
Will there be fewer teams interested in him as a result of certainly his unavailability to pitch for the duration of the contract?
Shohei Ohtani to the Braves just got a lot more real. I'm serious. It's a very real possibility at this point. We need to take a break.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Clint Finch standing by. Brentwood football head coach. We'll get to him on the other side of a break here on Main Street Sports. Back to the Lee Company studio in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you live from the Lee Company studio here in Columbia. Glad to have you guys with us as we are getting ready to jump into our preps coverage here on Coach's Corner, brought to you by our friends at From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Find folks at From the Heart if you're headed toward Henry Horton.
Congratulations, by the way, to Renee Hart, who is getting ready to become a mother-in-law.
Oh,
Daughter
wow.
Katie was proposed to over the weekend on the beach, and she accepted.
There we go.
So
Congrats.
welcoming a new member to the family is Renee. So congratulations to them.
Good for them and good for you, because that means that she's going to be giddy while making your breakfast, lunch, or whatever it may be.
I wonder if she'll be catering the wedding.
I hope not. Let somebody else.
Well, I
do
mean,
that.
it's kind of like who cuts the barber's hair, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So,
So
speaking of Brentwood alumni,
there you go.
as Katie is, welcoming CLINT FINCH, Brentwood football coach, in here on Coach's Corner, again presented by From the Heart Cafe. And Clint, I know you were able to hear some of our last segment. You coach football time, right?
I did. Can you hear me okay? I'm having to work off my phone, so I want to make sure you hear me okay.
We can, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I was an assistant softball coach here at Brentwood for 2 years and head softball coach for 3 years as well.
Okay, so you can kind of appreciate the Otani situation a little bit, I guess.
It was a fascinating discussion. What's funny is I don't think we always appreciate just how many good high school baseball players or high school softball players match those numbers all the time, and we don't think anything about it. But for a guy to do that at the major league level, that's pretty dadgum impressive.
It is. We've referred to a lot of what he's done as high schoolish, as a matter of fact. So
he's a unicorn.
Absolutely, he is. And kudos to the Angels for letting him be. But, Coach, great start last Friday night, taking care of business against Blackman. Your reward is getting Brentwood Academy coming to your place.
We were really proud of our young men last Friday night. I've done this for 30 years now, and really the only time I get nervous is at game one, because it's so totally different than all your scrimmages and all your prep time. And we told our guys that you get into game one and the adrenaline wears off, the excitement wears off, but your skills and fundamentals that you develop, they shouldn't go away. And our guys kind of lived by that motto Friday night, played great. We walked out of there feeling really good. And, yeah, we have this really good opportunity to play a school. I could walk there in about 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now and have a great measuring stick for what kind of football team we are. So we're super excited about that.
Obviously, Brentwood Academy has the long history, the state championships, everything that they've done over there. Y'all's resume doesn't necessarily pale to that. But were you concerned Saturday night when CPA went over there and beat them 17-16, just from a standpoint that they're not going to overlook you guys tomorrow night? I'm always kind of really honest in my coach speak, and I've tried to, as soon as that happened, I tried to go, how can I spin this? Like, part of me is like, they're beatable. And then part of me is like, well, they're also going to be kind of upset that they lost that home opener. All I know is that was, and I watched it on TV, that was two outstanding football teams just playing their hearts out on a Saturday night. And, I don't think they're going to overlook us regardless, but I just had a ton of respect after watching those guys play CPA Saturday night.
Coach, this is the kind of game that it shouldn't be too hard to get up for. Across the street rivals, not even across town, across the street rivals, and really a lot of bragging rights for these two teams. So, like you said in the first game, that adrenaline kind of wears off. How do you keep the guys from being too amped in a game like this?
So we're really fortunate this year. We're a pretty old football team. We rely heavily on a lot of seniors on this football team and a lot of juniors that have been playing. They're in their second year of starting. And they play in Williamson County football. And if you're familiar with Williamson County football, those Friday nights are always pretty special experiences, and there's a lot of hype and there's a lot of emotion tied in anytime you play in this county. So what we've kind of told our guys is listen, this is just another Williamson County football game, just instead of Franklin and Independence or Ravenwood or Centennial. It's just somebody a little different that we don't have a great history of playing a whole lot with. And we think our old guys are going to do a great job of handling the moment. We talked about that last week. We've talked about it this week as well. And we think our younger guys who are just now kind of experiencing their first Friday nights, they have the benefit of looking towards our old guys. But without a doubt, I would say if this atmosphere wasn't electric on Friday night, I would be disappointed.
Makes sense. And it doesn't seem like you guys took any off days setting up this schedule. So Brentwood Academy is just the second in a long line of very tough games. So, you kind of have to elongate that throughout the year as well, don't you?
Yeah, and one of the things that happens, and I think it's not unique to Brentwood, you have to think about Ravenwood had to open up with Alcoa last week. Independence had to open up with Oakland. We had to open up with what we felt like was a really good Blackman team. In 6A football, you're going to pretty much have to play good teams every Friday night. You do worry about keeping your kids healthy as the season goes on, but it's also what makes all those programs pretty special. When you show up to 6A football, you're probably going to see a really good football game, and we hope we can sit there and put on a really good show Friday night. And again, what a great measuring stick for our young men, right? We're going to go out there and we're going to play this thing to win. And at the end of the night, we've talked about how many battles we're going to have to win to try to pull off a win on Friday night. But for young men to get to challenge themselves against a program that has the history that BA has, it's just a lot of guys don't ever get to experience that. We're just excited that our guys do.
And I guess the best thing, Clint, about a game like a Brentwood Academy or last week against Blackman or your next two against Hendersonville and Henry County is regardless of what happens in those games, nothing keeps you from what it is you're trying to get accomplished because you're testing yourself in non-region games in all four of those.
Yeah, and that absolutely, like, once you get into the playoffs, in 6A, you're going to be playing good people. So you want to test yourself early on. You want to sit there and find out just how good you are. Sometimes you want to go in and figure out what can be exposed. Sometimes you need to know what you're good at, but sometimes you need to find out what you're not so good at. And these kind of games give you that opportunity to do so, and prepares you for region play. Hopefully you do well in region play, and it goes a long ways to preparing you for the playoffs, because you know that each week in those playoffs, they're just going to be better and better and better. And you need to know exactly how you stand up when it comes to playing those top tier teams.
Brentwood High School football coach Clint FINCH joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe here on Main Street Sports today. Clint, Middle Tennessee saw a level of talent influx this spring that I don't know that I've ever seen in the 30 plus years that I've been covering high school football. And, one of those guys is your quarterback, Baylor Hayes. Enlighten us on the Florida transfer and what he has meant and what you expect him to mean on the field for you guys.
So, what I always want to start out with when we talk about Baylor is just a quality kid. Baylor came to us. He actually enrolled back in December. Mom got transferred back to Brentwood, and they actually had lived here before they had wound up moving around with her job and ultimately landing in Jacksonville. It's the second year in a row that we've had a kid move in as a senior and as a quarterback. And what I told Baylor was the same thing I told our kid Grant Nelson last year. These kids at Brentwood High School, they want to know that you're willing to put in the work and that you're a team first guy. And Baylor has done that from day one. Had a huge advantage. He was with us in those 5 a.m. workouts throughout January, February, and March. He was there all through spring practice, all through those dog days of summer. And he's done nothing but work incredibly hard, proven himself to be a guy that the other players listen to. Okay. He has a resume backed up by his work ethic, so people are willing to listen to him or they're going to pay attention. Super smart kid. I tell everybody it's not like coaching a first-year quarterback. It's picked up on the playbook. incredibly well, and just has done such a good job for us thus far that, it's been almost a seamless transition, to be quite honest. Everybody, we run America's offense. We're a spread offense. And if you're going to be a spread offense, it's going to run through the quarterback. And he's done a great job of handling the passing game, of understanding the run game, of understanding the option game. So we're going to need him to continue to have a big game. He had a good game last week. He was disappointed over the 2 picks, but what I've seen about that kid is he's great at self-correction. He can fix his problems. We're going to need him to have a good game on Friday night, and he's excited about it. He's another kind of kid that is understanding just what it means to get to play football in Middle Tennessee in these great atmospheres. So we think he's going to have a great year, and he's going to be a big part of what we try to do.
How do you approach I'm sure there will be hype about Baylor Hayes versus George McIntyre. As a coach, how do you prevent your quarterback from getting caught up in going up against the number 2 in the country in the 2025 class?
Well, I think there's 2 things to that. I think number one, we always kind of stress the importance of team first. But I'll be really honest, and sometimes I get into trouble being honest. I'm okay if Baylor goes out there and wants to prove that he's every bit as good as George McIntyre, if not better. We've talked to our kids this week that at some point in time, football is going to come down to a one-on-one fight. You're going to have to line up and block somebody. You're going to line up and tackle somebody. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay if a kid sits there and goes, hey, George McIntyre is really good. I want to show that I'm as good as he is. And if that's what happens, then about 10 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll find out. I think Baylor's a confident kid, and I've got a ton of confidence in him. And I really think at the end of the night, you could be talking about both of those guys as being really top-level quarterbacks in Middle Tennessee.
Clint, when you get a transfer, particularly a senior transfer like this at a high-profile position, and you've got another kid who's been grinding for 2-3 years to try to get himself to that position, what is the other side of that coin like? What is that conversation like when you've got a guy who has sat and bided his time and waited his turn, and he thinks he's QB1, and all of a sudden here comes this hot shot from Florida? How does that go?
Well, and I think part of being a football coach, there's a lot of X's and O's involved in it, but there's a lot of managing situations like that as well. The fact of the matter is, we're in Brentwood. People move here for schools. People move here for their jobs. So, we're not that unlike other teams that we're going to have transfers. And as a coach, you have to learn how to integrate those guys in. I'm always cognizant that somebody kind of had that position before the new guy showed up. But we also stressed with our guys that we're always going to give you honest and fair evaluations. And then I also say that, look, this isn't the NFL. We're not going out signing a free agent. The kid moved here. The kid is in zone, right? Those are things you have to do in order to be eligible. And at the end of the day, it's going to become competition. And our kids, we feel like, thrive on that. When I told Baylor when he first came to the school, I said, now listen, there are other quarterbacks in this program right now. I want you to understand that there's going to be competition. Baylor said, I want a chance to compete for the job. And that's not a bad thing. There's always going to be competition. We try to relate everything we do in football to everything you do in life. And there's going to be competition in everything you do in your life. And sometimes you're going to win those competitions and sometimes you don't. And those are valuable learning lessons. And they may not be fun to go through when you're a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, but there's value to going through those situations. My job is to try to handle that as professionally and make the best decision I can make. And hopefully if we do that, it kind of shows on the field on Friday night.
Coach, talk a lot about your quarterback, but he's got a lot of help, and 138 yards and nearly 200 from your running backs last week is massive. And so, being able to be balanced has to be a huge advantage for you.
Yeah, and again, pretty old football team. So Trey Doris, as a senior, came out and did a great job last week. Pushed, I actually had the stats up earlier. He was somewhere between 140 and 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trey's one of those great program kids, played as a freshman, sophomore, saw a lot more playing time towards the end of last year. Gavin Nelson's a junior. He does, 2 really good running backs there. On the outside, we have Matthew Manning. Matthew actually started playing with us. We pulled him up for the playoffs his freshman year back in COVID. And so he's a 4-year player, 4-year starter. Clayton Merrill's in his 3rd year. JT Garies is a great athlete that's playing one of our outside receivers this year, another senior program guy that's been with it. And we've stressed that to Baylor, and we've stressed it to all those kids that, look, we know that we have a lot of talent, and we intentionally want to spread it around. A lot of times, coaches talk about balance, and people think it means 50% run, 50% pass. That's part of it, but part of it is, are you getting the ball in the hands of multiple playmakers and giving them a chance to be productive? And I think we did a pretty good job of that last night. Baylor, kind of as the trigger guy, part of that's his responsibility to understand that, hey, somebody's going to be open. Let's share the wealth, find the guy that's going to be open. And then, of course, I'm an old O-line guy. Incredibly pleased with the way that this offensive line handled last week and this week of preparation. Probably because I'm an old O-line guy, I worry about those guys getting overlooked. But guys like Ryan Barker and Sam Ralston, Alex Arena, Jack Carroll, Britton West, and Joe Collins, a lot of varsity snaps for those guys, and they're just doing a great job for us as well.
It looks like your typical O-line coach.
He does look like your typical O-line coach. Yeah. Post O-line, I guess.
Yeah. You got something?
Yeah. Coach, before we let you go, I have to ask you, are you getting any work out of Steve Brock?
I tell you what, now, I don't get as much work out of Steve Brock as Kara Brock does, okay? Like, I understand that Steve is Kara's employee first and my assistant coach second. But old Steve does a good job for us. It's great to have, in all honesty, he's a guy that's had 2 kids that came through the program. My 2 kids came through the program. Steve and I talk a lot because our kids are pretty similar in age, and they both went through Brentwood football. Steve does a great job for us. But make no mistake, Kara gets a lot more work out of him than I do.
I understand. I covered Steve in high school, so
he's a good ball player.
Yeah, he was good. He not as good as he'll tell you he was, but he was good. Yeah. Clint Finch, Brentwood football coach, joining us here on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe in Chapel Hill. Again, be sure and go visit soon to be MIL Renee Hart and her folks over there. And Clint, appreciate you taking some time with us this afternoon, and good luck tomorrow night against Brentwood.
Guys, I just want to say really quick, thank you so much for taking time to not just cover our program, but prep sports in Middle Tennessee in general. Y'all do a great job, and I appreciate it. Our staff appreciates it. Our parents and our players all appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We're happy to do it, and we couldn't do it without you guys' help and support, so thank you, and we look forward to talking to you again throughout the season.
Thank you, guys. Anytime.
All right. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, this day in Braves history, and we talk a little Braves as they get the day off. So who knows what might come up. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Did you know that up to 80% of us will experience back or neck pain during our lifetime? Many of you are offered surgery or addictive pain pills to relieve your chronic pain. At the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief, we have been leading the way to better health, naturally, and have helped tens of thousands of people right here in Middle Tennessee for the past 30 years.
I came to Dr. Gill about 10 years ago after my local doctors recommended surgery. I knew about Dr. Gill and wanted to see if he could help me. 10 years later, I am pain-free, no surgery, and no pain pills.
Surgery is scary, and over 40% of all back surgeries fail, creating a cycle of surgery and pills. There is a safer solution to your chronic pain. Make the call to the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief today and get your life back. This office visit is normally $299, but call today and receive your initial consultation, report of finding for just $49. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Call 615-768-8743. That's 615-768-8743.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. August 24th, 1954, after Robin Roberts had gone the distance against them on 13 straight occasions and winning 12 of those, the Braves finally knocked the Philadelphia ace off the mound with 9 hits in 6 innings and dealt Roberts a 5-1 defeat. It was death by 1,000 cuts as Milwaukee did its damage on just 3 extra base hits, all doubles. Warren Spahn scattered 7 hits and struck out 3 in the complete game victory. That was this day in Braves history.
Before we get into Braves breaking news in the baseball world, Steven Strasburg will retire.
When's the last time he pitched?
When's the last time Steven Strasburg pitched? You want to know? You want to know? When he hoisted a World Series MVP trophy.
In, what was that?
4 years ago. 5 years ago. And you can't tell me, as obviously not the way he wanted to end his career, but is there a better way to end your career? Oh, and by the way, he will continue to be paid $35 million annually through 2026. He will then receive 26.6 in 27, 28, and 29.
You hate this. I mean, I will never be confused for a Washington Nationals fan. And I really, on various social media outlets, gave them grief when they were monitoring his innings and they cut his season short, either his rookie year or his second year.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, when they were still in the mix. You know, yeah. I mean, they did everything they could to try to take care of that guy's arm. And still, you know, you get this. According to this ESPN.com story, made just 8 starts since that 2019 championship. had surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome, a nerve and blood disorder that involved removing a rib and 2 neck muscles. His last start was on June 9th, 2022, where it went 4 2/3 innings and then went back on the IL. Since signing a 7-year, $245 million contract in December of 2019, he's thrown 528 pitches in the majors and was not in spring training this year. He was supposed to be the next best thing when they took him out of San Diego State, where he was coached by Tony Gwynn in 2009.
And he was 14 strikeouts in his major league debut. And listen, the Braves roughed him up a lot, but nobody else did. The Braves were just about the only team that had Stras's number. He was really good.
I remember there was one game in like July or August one season at Turner Field when it was just as hot as it is right now. And I don't think he came out for the 4th.
Yeah, no. I know exactly what game you're talking about. And yeah, he was out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he made it to the 3rd.
Yeah.
It was 127 degrees, it felt like, and he
in the shade.
And
yeah.
they had roughed him up already. And yeah, he did not like pitching against Atlanta. I can guarantee you.
Oh, he didn't like pitching in Atlanta either. But yeah, after Tommy John surgery early in his career, the Nationals took heat for shutting him down late in the 2012 season, despite him being 15-6 with a 3.16 ERA. Without their ace, they lost to the Cardinals in the NLDS. Yeah. The long-term benefit of the shutdown didn't emerge until October 19th, when Strasburg went 5-0 with a 1.98 ERA on that championship run, and he went 2-0 against the Astros. That regular season, he went 18-6, leading the National League in wins, also leading the National League in innings pitched with 209. You just hate to see it. Seriously. I mean, and I'm being sincere. When you see a guy that comes into the game with that kind of talent, you hate it when health prevents him from really being able to maximize it.
It's Shohei Ohtani. This is just another example of, and listen, like you said, the Nationals did everything they could.
They really did.
To make it work and to keep him healthy. And it wasn't in the cards. It's going to happen no matter what. It almost makes you think what's going to happen is going to happen. So let's just throw caution to the wind from the start.
I seriously do feel like that, though. I mean, there are those that will tell you, you can get run over walking across the street.
That's right.
I mean, and it's really fatalistic, but I think I just roll with that guy. I mean, what did they leave on the table in 2012 by shutting him down like that?
Yep.
And for what? Ultimately, I mean, they got a world championship out of it 7 years later, but
I'm with you.
It's a tough decision to make, and obviously there are people that get paid more than I do to make them, but I'm kind of, and maybe I'm just a simple guy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, if he's not having any issues, and let him roll.
And what's
especially when there's something out there to be won.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be different if they had not been in a race at that point, like the Angels.
Yeah, and man, you gotta know the Angels front office is going,
why didn't we trade this dude?
Didn't we trade him?
Yeah.
It's brutal. Braves homestand is over. They're headed out west, but in the Mets series, the Braves advanced to 10-3 on the year against the Metropolitans. Marcell Ozuna went 8 for 11, 15th shutout of the year, and the Braves are, of course, first place in the East with the best record in baseball. Tough day to be a Mets fan. Every day is a tough day to be a Mets fan, I would presume.
These days, are you looking at this graphic that they put together?
I was.
On Twitter?
I didn't know what the claret jug was.
The claret jug.
See?
That's from the Open. They had the Open champion at yesterday. Either last night's game or the night before. But really interesting. HBCU night was last night, I think, at the Braves game, and
with the bobblehead and the flyover.
Yeah, and the flyover by 3 HBCU alumni pilots. It's pretty cool. And Ozuna from the Braves
just keeps pounding it. He's hitting the cover off, and this is the problem: is that he's doing it in late August, and so throughout September he's going to be useless, and then hopefully he turns it on in October.
8 for 11 in the series with 4 home runs, and that home run he hit last night, I texted you. I don't know how he hit that pitch out. I don't. Did you see it?
I did not see it.
Oh,
okay. I was painting, which means coloring. All coloring is painting. Pencils, crayons, doesn't matter. We're painting.
Well, at least you're not getting messy with this painting.
No, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take the crayons as painting.
And at least it's on paper and not the walls, right?
Typically.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, dude's hitting the cover off the ball right now. And I'm just, again, you have to take what you can get out of Marcell Ozuna. But he not only did he have the home run, he had the first run of the game with the single up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So with the first RBI, he just keeps driving in runs. I mean, hey, we'll take it. There's no question there.
Did you see at some point last night, I don't know if it was Mark Bowman or who it was, but somebody put up Ronald Acuna Jr.'s home road splits.
Oh, yeah, and they're identical?
Identical.
That was wild. I don't remember if it was Bowman
home
or
runs,
Gill.
RBIs, and steals were identical, both at home and
not
on the
just
road.
steals, but steals and attempts.
Attempts as well.
Yes, he was 29 of 34, both
That's
home
right.
and away.
Yeah, I can't find it. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I did see it, and I think it's because you had retweeted it or had liked it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that was wild, and it's so funny because everybody talks about how the Braves are cheating to achieve this success, and yet they are as good on the road, if not better.
At Codify Baseball tweeted earlier today how they need to finish to get to exactly 90 wins.
8 and 18.
8 and 28.
Oh, 28, that's right.
The Braves must go to get to 90 wins. St. Louis must go 34-0.
34-0?
34-0 to get to 90 wins.
Could you imagine if they did, though? How funny would that be? I mean, seriously.
I know a lot of folks that wouldn't laugh. But oh, sorry, White Sox, Rockies, Royals, A's, but you can't.
That's unfortunate for them.
That is unfortunate. The Mets have to go 31-3 to get to 90. Phillies have to go 21-14. So there are 4 teams that could have a losing record and still get to 90. The Braves, the Orioles, the Dodgers, and Tampa Bay. Everybody else has to go at least 500 to get there. Just for what that's worth.
I know I mentioned this, I think, off the air, but Justice Sheffield pitched for the Mississippi Braves earlier this week. He's now been transferred back to Gwinnett. So clearly,
That must have just been because
it must have been a roster move or something.
You probably just had 2 people slated make starts on the same day, maybe him and Winans or something like that. I'd be interested to see who started for Gwinnett when he started for Mississippi.
That's I guess that would be interesting. He started on Tuesday, allowed 1 run over 10 innings. 1 run on 1 inning. Sorry, well, there's a point in there. I was like, 10 innings? Why would he pitch 10 innings? That makes more sense.
So only pitched 1 inning?
Yeah, before he was ejected from the game.
I don't think that was in the plan. Whatever the plan was, it didn't involve him getting ejected after 1 inning.
So I can't imagine it was balls and strikes. Did they think he had sticky stuff or something? Maybe I don't know. That's wild.
That is wild. We may have to call our boy.
Just call him. Hey, listen,
Chris Harris.
Chris, what happened?
What happened? Hang on a minute.
I'm sitting here going, what in the world is
I wish you had seen that sooner because we'd have tried to get him on. But
well,
this is
Justin.
I'm gonna text Chris right quick.
Oh, I was just gonna say, have Justin call him on the Bluetooth and then pull him in. Heck, I want to know what that happened.
Wow. Well, we got things we got to get to, obviously, but we need to answer this.
So, Daniel Martinez and Patrick Halligan have been promoted to Mississippi. So that's big news. Halligan's 23 years old with a 5-5 record, 5.45 ERA, 68 strikeouts, 28 walks, and a 1.47 WHIP in Rome. Was originally drafted by Kansas City and signed a minor league free agent contract earlier this year. And Daniel Martinez has been Rome's top arm this year, 25-year-old, 3.07 ERA, striking out 79, walking just 18, and logging just a 1.12 WHIP. He was the South Atlantic League's Pitcher of the Month in May and has made 2 starts with the M Braves in April, where he went 0-2 with a 9.00 ERA. So he is slated to start tonight for Mississippi against the Biscuits. Do we have an answer?
He got ejected after 1 inning, but they sent him back to AAA. What did he do to get ejected?
Yeah, we know he got ejected. We don't know why. This is how this is going here. Look, this may be the most intriguing part of this conversation.
Right.
Because it had, I don't know. I guess I could have.
So Derek Rodriguez started for Gwinnett on Tuesday, by the way.
Who?
Yvonne Rodriguez's kid.
Yeah, but
they traded for him earlier this year. He was with the Braves briefly, got sent down. I did not think he was a starter. I wonder if this was just an opener kind of situation because they threw 6 guys that night. He went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and a strikeout. Argued with the home plate umpire.
All righty then.
And that was okay. So it was Tuesday night.
That's automatic balls and strikes,
but not in double A. Not in double A.
That's right. Just AAA.
Yeah. That's.
God. Well, at least he didn't. At least it wasn't, sticky stuff or something. That's wild. Just, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. But that would have been interesting to call. All right. Let's take a break as we continue Preps Thursday. Got some interesting, fantastic story here from Tyler Palmatier as he went around asking coaches what high school football rules they might change. We'll talk about some of the rules that some coaches brought up, and perhaps we have opinions of our own. I don't know. We'll be back. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Back after this.
damage.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Let your child play like the pros this fall season and join Titans Flag Football in their NFL Flag Football League. Titans Flag Football is no contact, easy to learn, convenient with teams meeting once per week for practices and games on Sundays. And we cannot forget, it's ridiculously fun. Teams are co-ed with ages from pre-K through 8th grade in select locations across Middle Tennessee. Visit TitansFlagFootball.com and sign up before registration closes on September 4th. Let's play together and win together this fall season with Titans Flag Football.
Y'all, I'm serious right now. They have a dragon here. I saw it. But no, they don't. There's no such thing as dragons. I swear, I saw it. It had huge claws. Get out of here. It had eyes as big as the moon. Come on, I'll show you. Wait up. Do you hear that? We're almost there. Whoa! I told you so. That is a dragon.
Near the most passionate.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton. It's Thursday, PREPS Thursday. High school football picks coming your way later in the show. So make sure to stick around for that. Also, SEC football previews continue. We've got 2 left. 2. The 2-time defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs and, of course, the Tennessee Volunteers. Today, we take care of the Bulldogs. Should be fun.
Looking forward to it.
Anthony Dasher will join us, so stick around in just a moment. All right. Tyler Palmatier doing the Lord's work in this article here from MainStreetPreps.com. High school rules or policies mid-state football coaches would change. The fact that he got these folks to put their names on this.
Yeah, a lot of times when you see articles like this, they are anonymous.
Yeah.
So
and it wasn't just one. I mean, it's 9 or 10, maybe 12, 13. It's a lot of them. So let's just go through them and see what we think. Eddie Woods at Cane Ridge. I would like for them to go back to pass interference being a personal foul, because if it's 3rd and long, say 3rd and 21, after a couple bad breaks, somebody can be wide open and you can interfere with the kid, and now it's still 3rd and 6. It should be a personal foul. No such thing as automatic first down in high school sports and high school football, and maybe there should be, because I agree with this, this particular scenario.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you could just go and just
tackle
blatantly. Yeah, tackle somebody knowing it's only 15 and you're going to replay the down. It's a good one.
I agree with Eddie Woods here on this one. Jamal Stewart, probably the dead period. It's a very important time, but I wish it wouldn't be 2 weeks, or I wish there was some kind of activity kids could do as a unit. Dead period is important, but I wish kids could be on campus working out if they want.
I love Jamal. I love his passion. I think everybody needs a break. I think we talked about this a little during the dead period. And I think that if they want, becomes highly encouraged with some programs.
Yeah, it's kind of like pro balls, voluntary
workouts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I mean, and here's the problem with that is if kids are on campus, a coach has to be on campus.
well, right, yeah, and not only that, but if some kids are on campus, if they want, some kids are on campus, other kids aren't on campus, and as a coach, you're taking note of who is and who isn't.
And those kids are too.
Right. Yeah.
Things start going bad. Where were you? Oh, you didn't catch me at the beach over the summer. I was in the weight room. Not my fault.
Or when that kid who was at the beach is whining and complaining about the way things are going. Hey, dude, we were here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, I think that's okay. I can see that. But I also feel like it's like, okay, but kids taking 2 weeks off from the weight room, there's some freshmen and sophomores who could really use that 2 weeks in the weight room.
You can go lift at Planet Fitness.
Not
if that's the issue.
Not necessarily, family situation or whatever, where you can't get to the gym because you're a freshman or a sophomore who's not driving yet, etc.
You can run anywhere.
No matter how far Planet Fitness is.
Yeah. I mean, there are things you can do.
Sure.
Unsupervised. And outside of the team structure. In fact, there's probably a lot of things you should be doing outside of the team
running
structure.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Ingle Martin. They finally let quarterbacks throw it away, which I think was pretty much common sense. I would say covering the knees, the knee pads being the focal point. We don't need to worry about the knees being covered.
The uniform police is out there and it is strong. And, Damian Harris of East Nashville kind of piggybacks on that.
And Chris
bit.
Hughes,
yeah.
The next one too. All three of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
listen,
I wonder what you're missing while you are concerned with whether the knees are covered or not.
How many players are on the field? Because you're worried about seeing if that kid that came in has got his knees covered. The towel situation. Listen, as a person who has officiated varsity level high school sports, being the uniform police is the least desirable thing an official has. Please understand, officials don't want to be the uniform police. I think I think coaches need to understand that. We don't want to do this, but if there's an evaluator in the stands and I don't do this, it's costing me money in the playoffs. It's costing me, points on that evaluation. So therefore, I have to do it. And I agree. I agree completely with the coaches, and I agree with the officials who say that we don't want to do it. But, and I think that's the thing is, why is it important?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not a safety thing,
why do we?
I don't know. Now, and maybe the knee pads over the knees, maybe there is some safety issue there. I don't know.
I mean,
if that's a safety thing,
a helmet
then
to the kneecap probably hurts, but it's going to hurt either way.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much the knee pad impacts that. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Chris Hughes also talks about the get back rule. And listen,
as someone who probably needs it.
Well, here's the problem with that. This is a liability situation. The reason that the get back that rule exists is because an official ran over a coach one time and the coach got hurt, sued the official, and won.
Was the coach on the field of play, or was the coach on the sideline?
He was in the
box.
In the box that you're not supposed to be in. So now officials have to be wary of that because it's liability. It's on them. They can be sued. and they will lose. There is precedent.
That's tough.
So, sorry. That's just the way it is. Blame the courts. Because it was not his fault. The official, I mean. So, anyway, that's why that exists. It's why it's not going anywhere. Just here to tell you. Anthony Brown at Hillsborough. I wish we could do padded camps like they do in Georgia at the end of June, going into the dead period, I guess. We get behind because we can't put on equipment until 2 weeks before school starts. A lot of coaches in Georgia, his brother's an athletic director down there. That padded camp helps them get going as far as acclimating to play up front, and would love seeing us able to do that. I think that's
get behind who?
I guess
because everybody in Tennessee is playing by the same rule.
Well, I mean, I guess other states that, and perhaps recruiting. I don't know.
Covered Anthony Brown when he played at TSU. Great dude. I don't like the getting behind excuse, because everybody in your state is playing by the same rules.
Sure,
you're not doing any less than anybody else unless you're playing somebody from out of state. So I don't know who you're getting behind.
I don't know. Look, I'm just throwing that out there. Perhaps it's other states. Maybe that's his concern with that, is that, you know, our kids are having to wait 3, 4, 5 weeks into the season before they're getting noticed or something. I don't know. Scott Stidham at Independence. I wish the season would start a little later. We had a scrimmage in July. It's crazy to play a football game on August 18th. Dealing with the heat, I'd push the season back a little bit. It's tough timing with basketball and winter sports, but it would push the season more into fall and not summer. Give me 1-2 weeks. That's plenty. You shouldn't scrimmage on July 29th, in my opinion, and start full pads in August. Okay, so this is where you get into the issue of Alabama. They start this week. This is week 1, but they had week 0 last week. And
now, could they have regular season games in week 0?
So that's why they call it week 0, because it's either Jamboree or a regular season game with an off week in the middle of the year.
So if you choose, so you have from tomorrow through 10 weeks to play a 10-week schedule.
That's correct.
Now, if you want to play a week early and have an off week,
you can.
You can. Otherwise, you play a 10-game schedule over 10 weeks with no off week.
Correct.
Thus, you have week 0, which is what we used to do here. And then it got to the point where so many folks were opting to take an off week, fall
that they
break,
just decided
that kind
to do
of
that
thing,
anyway.
that they just decided to go 1 through 11. I like week 0. I never had a problem with the terminology of week 0, but I was clearly in the minority on that.
Well, and I don't disagree necessarily with bringing the season back, but again, you are cutting your nose off maybe to spite your face, because you now don't get that opportunity for an off week in order to finish the season on December 2nd. Now, here's another thought.
Well, maybe you don't finish the season on December 2nd.
Here's the thought. December, whatever, that Friday or that Saturday of Blue Cross Bowl is typically SEC football championship weekend. The very next weekend, it's Army, Navy, and ain't nothing else.
Maybe you push into that.
I'm just saying, you push it.
Especially in Tennessee.
You push it.
Which one is there more interest in?
Far more interest. And what does that do to the crowd who has nothing better to do on Saturday for that 6A game on Saturday night?
Which is going up against the SEC championship game.
Right now.
Yeah.
But it's not if you push the season back a week. I'm just saying, now you're going to have more teams playing on Thanksgiving. And hey, that's your prerogative. But
yeah. Our friend,
just a thought.
Our friend Joe Williams actually has a little bit of a rant on Facebook that he posted earlier today with regards to the start of the season and how we've gotten to where we've gotten. So if you're friends with Joe and you're on Facebook, look that up. Or if you're friends with me and you're on Facebook, look that up because I copied and pasted it.
Here's my favorite, Arsente Broom.
This will be fun.
I think a one-time transfer deal. Give kids one opportunity to go wherever they want one time. Some situations work better than others. It's not about a kid leaving your program for athletic reasons all the time. Sometimes personalities don't mix for whatever reason. It's not a disrespect to the player or coach, but the coach, for whatever reason, may not be able to reach that player. If you have a kid who is a receiver and he's got an old school coach who's just like, well, we're going to run the ball, man. He should be able to go somewhere he has an opportunity to play. And if one coach leaves and a new coach comes in, sometimes that kid may have been doing something a certain way under an old coach that might not fit with that coach. That's what Arsente Broom said. Charles Rathbone.
Hold up a minute.
I would stop all transfers.
Hold up, because Tony Brunetti said the same thing as Arsente.
Yeah, he sure did. There you go. So,
yeah.
Charles Rathbone says, I would stop all transfers. How you going to stop all transfers? What if I move, coach? I mean, come on.
If you move, bro.
You better
find somebody to stay with.
I don't know if that's going to work, Charles. Oh, man.
Bunk up. Every school is a boarding school.
I guess. Like, that's not. Look, I understand that.
Throw some cots in the gym at Page.
I think
for those kids whose families moved. Yeah.
Well, think about all the kids that moved into Page's district.
You don't want them.
Don't.
Sorry, dude. Don't.
Can't come here. So, I mean, think about that.
That's interesting.
That's not, I don't know about that one. And the high school NIL is not at all like college NIL.
And I don't think it's really been since the state of Tennessee approved it. I've not heard a whole lot about it. I think the biggest thing that it's done is that it's allowed kids to maybe do some individual instruction or endorse like maybe D1 or something like that. But I don't think it's been out of hand.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of high school kids with camps yet. So finally, before we get out of here, Will Hester.
Mm-hmm.
Will Hester says dead period's fine, but let's move it. Let's put it at the beginning of June. Right after you get through with spring practice.
Right after school gets out.
School gets out. Spring practice is over. Give me 14 days to take a break. I like that.
That might be the thing. Maybe moving dead period rather than getting rid of it. Yeah.
Just a thought. I like it. I think that's a good compromise if there's a compromise necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Those are, again, that full story with quotes and all, mainstreetpreps.com. Make sure to go check that out and look forward to getting more from coaches potentially throughout the year on that. I like it. Now that we have some folks who have put their names on it, maybe other coaches would be willing to speak up. And
maybe this can be a series because
perhaps.
These are 20 coaches in Davidson and Williamson County.
But we've not heard from Robertson or Rutherford or Murray or
Kevin Creasy
or particularly
who has something to say about everything.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's take a break. Anthony Dasher said to join us. We'll talk a little bit about the Georgia Bulldogs when we come back, as we are continuing our SEC football previews up until kickoff on Saturday. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here on this Thursday edition. Typically, we'll be talking a lot of preps, but for just a moment, we step outside and take you to the next level as we continue our Southeastern Conference previews. We do so by heading to Georgia. We'll talk about the two-time defending national champ Bulldogs with Anthony Dasher. Anthony, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, guys, my pleasure.
Hey, appreciate you taking some time.
Sure.
So, Anthony, as we've gone through the SEC, we've run into a couple of situations where folks thought they were going to be available and then suddenly weren't because practices got changed due to the heat. How are things in Athens?
As far as the heat goes, it hasn't been that much of a problem. I mean, here in Athens, I guess it's been, this week especially, it's been in the mid and upper 90s. But coaches have been very careful. They've had the kids inside the indoor facility, a good bit of the time this week. But so far that part of it hasn't been a problem. That's not to say guys have not been banged up, that sort of deal. But as far as the heat goes, they've got through that okay.
And it's funny because there are the haves and the have-nots in the world of college football, and some programs can do that. Others maybe not. So it's always interesting because that's one of the positives about going to a Power 5 like Georgia is when it's hot, you can go outside. You can go inside. And that's important. So, Anthony, as practice has continued to kind of hone in on the starting 11 on both sides, how does Kirby Smart feel like this year's team stacks up? Do they feel like becoming the first major football power to win a third straight national title? Is that on the cards or?
Well, I know fans are definitely looking at it that way. I don't think necessarily that Coach Smart is. I mean, that's been a question he's been asked. Man, if I had a nickel for every time that's been done, I'd probably be rich right now. But it's corny and cliche as it is. They just really take it just one, day at a time, one practice at a time. And you talk to the kids on the team, And while they'll acknowledge, yeah, hey, that would be a great accomplishment, they really do not seem to be all that, caught up in in making history or anything of that nature. Not to say they don't have maybe a decent chance to do that, but that's just not something that the team as a whole really seem to be concerning itself with right now.
Well, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that, and these are 18 to 23-year-old kids for the most part. Not sure if you guys got any more 26-year-old quarterbacks lying around, but that pressure can get to you, at that age and that sort of thing. So if you feel like this team is taking it in that way, you just got to make sure that they are able to keep that mentality throughout the next 15 weeks.
Oh, no question about it. And that's one of the reasons you hear the players and Coach Smart, talk about the practice, the way they go about their business, all the time. They try to make every single practice the hardest thing they're going to see, even in the regular season. And once again, you'll hear players talk. I mean, when Georgia goes one-on-one during the middle of the week, they say those experiences are tougher generally than what they're going to see during the regular season. And I think that in large part helps kind of keep this team grounded. I mean, they're always being put in pressure situations on the field in practice. They can come up with some different things during the course of that to put pressure on those guys, on the quarterbacks, for example, on the defensive line. So you've got maybe a fourth and one. You've got to make a stop to win the SEC. Just throwing that out there as an example, and those kind of things to have these kids ready for whatever situation may arise.
Anthony, when you talk about this team and you just asked the question, can they win a third straight national championship? The fact that that's even a conversation,
it's nuts.
Just
it's nuts.
It's crazy. It says a lot for where this program has come to under Kirby Smart. What do you feel like the biggest questions are as far as whether or not they're able to be in that conversation?
I think overall it's probably going to be the health of the team. Georgia does have some guys, banged up right now. They did, Kirby Smart announced yesterday they did lose running back Branson Robinson for the year of ruptured patella. Now, Branson wasn't going to be the starting running back, but he's going to play a key role this year, so he's not going to be available. And you already consider the fact that Kendall Milton's already dealing with an injured hamstring. Dejon Edwards has been banged up. That's a position if something else were to go wrong. They may be in, I won't say dire straits, but they could be in a little bit of a, issue. Something were to happen to Brock Bowers, that certainly would change, I think, the outlook on a lot of, things, right now. But, the schedule itself, and once the Oklahoma game, got taken away by the SEC non-conference anyway, is going to be a pretty much of a breeze, this year. And as far as the SEC schedule goes, there's going to be some tough, could be some tough road trips to Auburn and, of course, to Tennessee there at the end of November, which, that's something, another hurdle they're going to have to overcome. But a lot of things point in their favor right now. But in my opinion, again, it's just a matter of the team's health. Of course, a lot of people are going to be looking at Carson Beck, first time starting quarterback. But I don't really think that's going to, if Georgia falters, I don't think it's going to be the quarterback that's the issue. I just think it's overall health of the team if they can stay healthy.
Talk a little bit more about Carson Beck. Again, first-time starter. You don't think that's where the question is, or don't think that's going to be a question?
No, I don't. And the reason I say that, he's been with the program now. This is his fourth year. He thought, what was it, in 2021 when JT Daniels was still on the team, right before Stetson Bennett became starter. He thought he was a number 2 quarterback going into that year. He thought he was going to be the guy after JT. It didn't work out that way, and there's a lot of rumors, speculation that Carson may wind up transferring. He stuck it out, and people like to compare him to Stetson, and really there's not a whole lot there as far as that's concerned. I mean, Carson is 6'3", 215 pounds, more of your prototypical quote unquote pro style quarterback. Guy's got a great arm. He can run a little bit. And he has had some success with this offense. Now, granted, when he played last year, he wasn't placed in a situation where the game was on the line. I think he was all, I think the closest the game was when he came in, maybe like 28-3 or something of that nature. In other words, he always was playing against another team's backups. He's running out the clock or trying to make plays against guys who would not be, are typically not starters. So that's something I think that people kind of won't see how he, ultimately responds under those pressure situations. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was talking earlier. All these kids are placed in pressure situations throughout practice, throughout camp. And I think he'll be able to respond to that, okay. But he's got a great arm. I mean, coaches obviously think a lot of him, and so we'll see. But I'm looking. When I look to see Carson, I don't see him as being an issue for Georgia at all this year.
Well, when you're playing behind an offensive line such as Georgia has, it makes it a lot easier to be a first-year starting quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Georgia has a very good offensive line. There's no doubt about that. They will have a new left tackle this year. Anthony Green, the left tackle. Austin Blasky is another who's battling for the job. But otherwise, you've got a lot of veterans at that spot. Right tackle Marius Mims is 6'8", 335 pounds. Was voted a preseason all SEC guy. Very deep experience at guard. So yes, as offensive line, they have a very high hopes for this year.
6'8", 335. We were scared not to vote for him.
Yeah.
Anthony Dasher, who covers Georgia for Rivals.com, it's UGAsports.com down there, but joining us here on Main Street today, Sports Today. Anthony, I want to step away from Georgia football for just a second. A couple of weeks ago, you talked about Stetson Bennett had a big performance for the Rams in a preseason game. What was the buzz like in Athens coming off of that game for him? Was there much talk about it, or people?
Oh yeah, a lot of excitement for Stetson. I mean, Stetson's story, y'all know it as well as anybody. I mean, it's something a lot of people especially Georgia fans, were really were excited about when he played here, and some of the same questions he faced at Georgia, he's facing now in the NFL, and based off his first 2 exhibition games, he's done pretty well for himself. And I mean, he had the pick 6, I know, last week, but you look at the overall numbers, he's playing with a lot of confidence, and the Rams, coaches seem to be very excited about what they've got. So, yeah, it looks like Stetson's going to be able to obviously make the team this year and back up Matt Stafford. And when he gets a chance, I'll be curious to see how he does.
Obviously, again, with Carson Beck, first-time starter at quarterback, a lot of talk about him and the offense. That defensive side of the ball, what are the thoughts as far as that unit goes?
Well, they're going to miss Jalen Carter. I don't think any question about that. Jalen was a special player, and I think Eagles fans are kind of finding that out right now with what we've seen from him. They're in their first 2 preseason games. Depth up front is, maybe a little bit of an issue. I mean, you hear Kirby Smart talk about it. It's a big problem. I'm not sure if it's quite that bad. They don't have, I don't think, what you call a dynamic presence up front. They've got 7 who I consider very, very good football players who can be successful, I think, in the SEC. I mean, Nazir Stackhouse did a great job last year at nose tackle, replacing Jordan Davis. He's back for a senior year. Michael Williams, sophomore defensive end, another preseason All-SEC guy. A lot of high hopes for him, this fall. So that's probably the one spot on defense. I do have some injury issues at the inside backer. Smile Munden is trying to overcome an ankle injury right now. He's probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. You're going to see a new starter at one of the cornerback spots. Javon Bullard has been moved from the star nickel position to strong safety, so that would be a little different for him. But otherwise, it's another deep group of talent on the defensive side of the ball that Georgia has to work with. And even though they lost some key guys, they just replaced them with more guys who are if you go by what the rankings, player rankings say, was former high 4-star, 5-star kids. So they're not lacking for talent. Some of them may be a little inexperienced, but they feel good about what they've got.
You mentioned the schedule, and it is, quite frankly, the easiest schedule in the Southeastern Conference. Now, that's not to say it's not difficult.
Yeah.
It's the easiest schedule in the Southeastern Conference. Now, what that means is up to you. But UT Martin at home, Ball State at home, South Carolina, UAB, all at home before you take your first road trip to Auburn. You mentioned that game. And look, we all know that Jordan-Hare is a weird place. Georgia's experienced the juju there. And so you never take that game for granted.
No.
Of course, you get the Florida and Jacksonville. for the last time, at least for now?
For a couple of years. I believe they're back next year as well. But then after that, they're doing some renovation work that's going to take the teams away from the stadium, I think, for 2 seasons. So haven't heard anything exactly what's going to happen. I would suspect it would be home and home for like 25 and 26 before they go back to Jacksonville after that.
You think they do go back to Jacksonville?
I think they do. I mean, there's so much money involved in this. The city of Jacksonville is making it well worth their participation in this thing, and they make it's several $1 million more than that would have been for either school if they would host the game themselves. So money is a big factor in this, and so is a tradition to a certain extent. But the big deal there is money, and the city of Jacksonville has not been shy about doling out some major bucks.
The big deal is money.
No kidding.
I'm shocked.
Appalled.
Yeah. Never would have thought that.
But, Ole Miss at home, Missouri and Ole Miss at home before coming to Tennessee, which by all accounts, and not just because we're here in Tennessee, probably proves to be the most difficult game on the schedule.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think the Kentucky game may be a little bit tricky just because, Kentucky's style of play is something they've always played Georgia tough. So it seems like since Mark Stoops has been there. But I think most people would definitely agree, though, that game in Knoxville is going to be the one because obviously the great year that the Vols had last season, even with some of their losses, they're going to be another very explosive team. And that's going to probably be the team that causes Georgia the most trouble in the long run.
So with that, you kind of get to ease into the schedule. Feel like this team has every opportunity to, again, make the SEC championship game, potentially win the thing, and then go on to the college football playoff. But outside of that Tennessee game, and you said Kentucky, is Kentucky kind of the other game, or is it the at Auburn game that you're really kind of worried about?
Well, Georgia, in recent years anyways, had pretty good success playing over at Auburn. I mean, Auburn's had some decent teams, and 2 or 3 years ago, Georgia's going over there and played pretty well. First year, Gus Malzahn, I won't say new coach, that's not the right thing to say, but it's going to be a first year for him back, and they've got some question marks. I think it's some offensive positions still, right now. So I don't know. I think that's a probably game, especially with Georgia's experience. I think they'll be able to get through that one all right. But the reason, again, I say Kentucky is there's just this physical style of football that they play. And we saw what happened up in Lexington last year. Of course, it was raining, it was storming up there the whole time. But nevertheless, that's just been one of those teams that, for whatever reason, gives Georgia some trouble. Even though Georgia has not, lost to the Wildcats, it's just been one of those contests that they, kind of have to really put in 4 quarters of work to get it done. And in Ole Miss, they offensively they scare you a little bit, but until they pick it up defensively, I'm not sure if that's going to be a overall big of a challenge as going to Knoxville that next weekend.
CollegeFootballNews.com has the Ole Miss Rebels beating Georgia on the road. I just want to throw that out there. They're on record. I just want to put that out there.
Haven't seen that yet.
It ain't me. It ain't me. I'm just telling you what they said.
Don't blame the message.
Don't shoot the messenger on that one, huh?
Nope, not at all. Not at all. You talk about Kentucky scaring Georgia, Anthony. Missouri scared Georgia up in Como last year. How bad does Georgia beat Missouri between the hedges on November 4th?
I don't know. I've never really thought that Coach Smart has been one to really worry too much about the revenge game. Only exception I'll make is that year that Vanderbilt during COVID canceled the game, and Kirby was a little bit pissed about that. So he kind of let it out on him, I think, the following year. But as far as Missouri goes, I don't think there's a revenge factor. I think they just give, Tigers a lot of credit for what they did last year, leading Georgia by 10 points going to the 4th quarter, but Georgia finds a way to come back and win that and really kind of show the mettle, of last year's team. But I don't think that's going to be a game that they're going to circle. So, hey, man, those guys play those close, but they go out there and kick their rear ends this time around. They just want to win.
I was walking out of Truist Field that Saturday night, and folks were getting into their phones, and they were seeing how close that ball game was.
Yeah.
And it was a sight to see because, obviously, Atlanta, There's a few Georgia fans around there going to Braves games, so it was definitely an interesting next few minutes
because they all went to the Braves game thinking, oh, it's Missouri, let's go watch the Braves.
Right, and then they're coming out and it's like, what? Yeah.
They're all confused.
Yeah, big time.
Oh man, Anthony Dasher here with us on Main Street Sports today. Anthony, thank you for taking time with us and looking forward to watching this run by Georgia, because if they do make history, you know, as much as I don't want them to win a national championship, because I would love for Tennessee to do so, it would be cool to watch something like that happen in real time. So looking forward to seeing Georgia out on the gridiron here soon.
Yep, looking forward to getting to Tennessee myself.
Well, we appreciate that. We'll talk to you later.
See you guys.
Thanks, Anthony.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we pick 10 of the biggest games from around the mid-state in high school football on PREPS Thursday. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Did you know that up to 80% of us will experience back or neck pain during our lifetime? Many of you are offered surgery or addictive pain pills to relieve your chronic pain. At the Dr. Gill's Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief, we have been leading the way to better health, naturally, and have helped tens of thousands of people right here in Middle Tennessee for the past 30 years.
I came to Dr. Gill about 10 years ago after my local doctors recommended surgery. I knew about Dr. Gill and wanted to see if he could help me. 10 years later, I am pain-free, no surgery, and no pain pills.
Surgery is scary, and over 40% of all back surgeries fail, creating a cycle of surgery and pills. There is a safer solution to your chronic pain. Make the call to the Dr. Gill Center for Back, Neck, Chronic Pain Relief today and get your life back. This office visit is normally $299, but call today and receive your initial consultation, report of finding for just $49. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Call 615-768-8743. That's 615-768-8743.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton. High school football coming your way tonight. You can catch at Mo_Patton_sports. He'll keep you up to date from Columbia Academy at Webb Bell Buckle.
Yeah, I've never been over there before, and so I'm hoping that reception connectivity isn't an issue, and I'm able to, tweet updates out of there. So
I'm sure. I think you'll be fine. I mean, you're just south east of Murfreesboro. And I don't have any issues when I'm in War Trace, which is right there. So you should be fine.
I don't think I had any problems when I went over to Cascade last year. So
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah.
Bell Buckle Cafe closes at 8. So
we're good.
Get out of here and you should be good to go.
We're good.
Trust
me. Already done my recon.
You're in the game. So make sure to keep it up for updates on the game, but also a full recap from Bell Buckle Cafe.
Thursday Night Bites.
Thursday Night Bites. There you go. All right, let's take a look. Last week in the Main Street Preps Pick'em, I was 8-2, 8-3 on this show though because I picked Ravenwood to beat Alcoa. So unfortunately, you go from 500 to under.
Right.
From 5-5 to
5-6. Yeah.
So not great, but it's a long season.
Hope springs up.
It is a long season. So we'll start with the Blue Devils and the Bees. A little different than the Birds and the Bees.
A lot different.
But Lebanon.
This is a game that's starting later than usual. This one's been pushed back to 8 o'clock for heat concerns, by the way. So
also bus concerns.
Yeah, heat and bus. Hot bus, I don't know.
You know, I saw someone post that a picture of them like taking a thermometer gun
on a bus.
127.
Yeah. So maybe it is a hot bus.
It could be.
And most of those yellow dogs don't have air on them.
That's right. So you got to roll the windows down and hope it's, and all that's doing is circulating hot air.
Blue
Devils of Lebanon heading to Upperman tomorrow, 8 p.m. I've got Lebanon in this one. I think it's probably a touchdown game.
Upperman is what, 3A?
I think so, yes.
Lebanon is 6A, and I think those numbers are going to come into play at some point.
With
Just
heat?
from a depth standpoint. With the heat, yeah. I think Upperman plays it close. I think Lebanon wins it.
You can hear the sultry tones of Tommy Bryan on that one. But if you want to watch it, I'm betting the Upper Cumberland Reporter and Noah McKay
and the fine folks up on the plateau
will
taking care of you.
My guess is that they will have, let's see here. I've got their schedule right here. You can see I don't see it. No. Oh, yes. Game of the week. Noah McKay, Justin Mathahaney, and Hallie Ledbetter on the sideline for the UCR Game of the Week. All right. We go now.
Upperman is 4A.
4A, okay. I never know with basketball. Yeah, they're a basketball school to me.
Yeah, they are 4A for football, but still.
Blackman at Stewart's Creek, Mo.
Stewart's Creek with a big win last week over Tullahoma. Blackman didn't look great in that 38-14 loss to Brentwood. So I am going with the Red Hawks in a low-scoring affair.
This one is at 7 o'clock for now. Tomorrow night. I've got Blackman in a close one just because, they're really talented and they're going to be motivated after last week. So Matt Kreisky's not going to be happy with a performance like last week. And he's certainly going to coach him up this week. So I'm going to go with the Blaze in that one. Gallatin at Station Camp Friday at 7 o'clock. I have the Bison getting it done. This is going to be an interesting game, though. I'm one of only 3 people picking the Bison, but I don't know. I just feel like Station Camp's going to win this ball game.
I think Gallatin played really well and lost to Hendersonville last week, and I think they get it done this week. Again, I've got the Green Wave close, but I like the Green Wave.
Cascade at Ridgeland Friday at 7. This has been for the last 2 years a very good football game.
Yeah, it's been a region game for the last couple of years as well. Is it this time? I don't believe it
I
is,
don't
with
think
Richland
so.
going back down to 1A.
Right. I don't think it is. So whatever that means, but for me, I think Cascade has gotten the better of Richland the last couple of years. I don't know if they graduated a whole lot, but I just feel like that team really just kind of reloads. But what Richland did last week against Lincoln County was very, very encouraging for the Raiders. I'm going to go champions here, but don't be surprised if you're right. I will not be surprised if you are.
I will not be surprised if I am either. I'm going with the Raiders in this one. That their performance going up against 5A Lincoln County. Now, I know this isn't your father's Lincoln County or even your grandfather's Lincoln County, but the fact that they went to Richland and Richland played them to a 1-point game, and it might have been overtime.
I don't think it was overtime, but it might have been.
It was a 1-point game, though. I like Richland in this one.
Independence makes its home debut against more Patriots. This time the silver helmets instead of white, but Pat still on the side of it. And the Eagles are going to have a tough one here. I've got Page in this one by a touchdown. I feel like they're just a little bit more seasoned, and Independence still trying to find its identity under Scott Stidham.
I like Page in this one. I just think that they are a little bit farther along offensively right now than Independence is. And, yeah, that's it.
Montgomery Bell Academy travels to Ensworth Friday at 7. And this is an interesting matchup considering, NBA struggled last week.
NBA struggled last week against a really good Pearl Cone team that we're going to talk more about here in a second. So I'm not necessarily looking at NBA struggling as I'm looking at Ensworth going over and beating a traditionally really tough Union City team at Union City. And it's on the basis of that win that I'm going with Ensworth.
I've got the Tigers as well in that one. I've got them by 10. Friendship Christian at DCA. Is this a state championship
rematch?
I think so. Friendship Christian.
No, I think it was Nashville Christian in the final.
That's right. It was. But Friendship Christian has been very good the last couple of years, as has Donaldson Christian. I got the Commanders in this one. I just feel like they've got a little more oomph on offense.
I'd agree. I like the Commanders in this one.
Clarksville hosting Springfield, 7 o'clock on Friday.
Man, I picked against Springfield last week and got burned, and I really, really, studied over this one. But Isaac Shelby does a really good job up at Clarksville. And who did they beat? They beat
Montgomery Central like a drum.
Yeah. I'm going with the Wildcats here.
I've got the Wildcats based a little bit off of both, but also kind of what David talked about. Springfield's kind of lost a few players from over the last couple of years, so I'm going to go Clarksville. Brentwood Academy at Brentwood Friday at 7. This is going to be a dogfight, but everybody seems to be on the same page here.
Again, really wanted to pick Brentwood. I'm not sure how much, and this goes back to that Blackman-Stewart's Creek game, I'm not sure how much of a function of Brentwood's 38-14 win over Blackman was Brentwood and how much of it was Blackman. I feel like Brentwood Academy is pretty good.
I would agree.
They lost a nail biter last Saturday night to CPA. So I think that they will be fully focused on this ball game, and I'm going with Brentwood Academy.
I'm with you for those exact same reasons. I just feel like George McIntyre and that offensive line has got to have gotten better, and I think they will have. Main Street Preps Game of the Week, Pearl Cone at Christ Presbyterian, as we talked about, CPA and Brentwood Academy. This is going to be a heck of a ball game. Pearl Cone just had its way with NBA last week. CPA edges out Brentwood Academy. Heck of a ball game I'm expecting. Great pick for Game of the Week. I'm going Lions in a very close one.
I'm going Lions as well. I think they really grew up last week in that win over Brentwood Academy, and I think it's going to be a great ball game, very entertaining, but I'm going CPA. Oh, I just got a text from Culleoka Athletics Director David Parks. Their soccer game has been canceled for tonight.
No Zion Christian at Culleoka. Come back tomorrow. Greg Seitz, Athletics Director of Jacksonville State University, will join us at 3 o'clock. We've also got Jeff Him at 2:20, and Dave Hooker gives us his season preview for the Tennessee Volunteers. And we'll see you on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint tomorrow.